because this part right here is like really where my life had really changed, okay? I came to Tight Eyez' house when Soldier brought me, and when Soldier had brought me to Tight Eyez' house, like I said, there was a whole bunch of people there. It was like a lot of people there, but everybody was getting off. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I was scared because TeeFlii, I mean, the way that he was dancing, like he was dancing, he was getting in your face, he was hopping on you, he was stepping on people's backs, he was pulling girls' hair, he was doing all type of stuff. So I'm like, man, it was totally different. I'm like, this different. I don't have nothing like that. So I went outside and sat in the car. I'm like, I'm not going in there because the heat was turned up in there, like, bruh, like they was on some whole other stuff. I'm like, I'm not. So Lil C, I'm sitting in the car. Lil C I love Lil C. He's always been a person in my life that has been consistent when it comes to being himself and not switching up. He's always been the same person, always, when it comes to the role that he played in my life. So Lil C, which I call Mr. Uncle Buck, Mr. Uncle Buck, I'm in the car and I see him coming, so I'm trying to I know he's coming to get me to come inside. I'm trying to do like this, get down. He get in the window, he's like, what you on, man? I'm like, nothing. He's like, man, come here and get off. I'm like, man, I don't know. He's like, man, come on, man. Like, he's like pressuring me. Like, I wish it was still like that. But yeah, he's saying that, so I go in there. I'll never forget because I had on these big ass red shorts that were stinking. But I go in there and me and TeeFlii, we get to battling. And as a matter of fact, I think Ruckus was there, to be exact. I think Ruckus was there. Ruckus was, because a lot of people don't know that Chez and Ruckus were god brothers. They're god brothers. So I met Ruckus Ruckus was there. Ruckus was there. Ruckus was there. And so TeeFlii, we going in. I got heart though. I got heart. I'm doing what I can. But I'll say TeeFlii, man, he was on some other stuff. He really it made me want to dance though. It made me say, I want to be like that. You know what I'm saying? I want to be like that. And that was then. That was that time. So what happened is after that day, after that experience, I went back home to Lake Los Angeles. I'm in there in the house with my mother, and I hadn't been around my mother in a long time because of what had been going on. I was really raising myself on the streets. So when I went to go see my mother and I was there, I had missed it, you know what I'm saying? Because regardless of what was going on, I still loved my mother, you know what I'm saying? And it was my mother, my siblings there, and we finally had electricity because there was a time where we was living off of a generator, you know what I'm saying? That's how bad it was. So I'm like, damn, we got electricity. And I'm happy to be there and be with my family. But I'm like, it's something that I need to do. I just felt like it was something that I needed to do. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sitting there talking to my mom, and she was saying, I'm planning on going to New York. I'm just letting you know this. She told me that she was planning on going. I'm like, okay. So I called Tight Eyez because the day that I went there, when I was there that last time, him and Mama I sat there and they had a talk with me. And they said, if you need somewhere to come live, you can come live here. What? I can come live with Tight Eyez? Okay. So when I'm there at my house, I call Tight Eyez to see if it's, if it's real. Man, I'm like, hey man, you come pick me up? I'm 14, you know what I'm saying? I'm 13, 14. I'm like, can you come pick me up? I'm out here. And he really came and picked me up. He came and picked me up. And on that ride there, when he was taking me back to LA, because he didn't have a license, he didn't have nothing, he was just driving his girlfriend's car. This was krump stuff, just driving his girlfriend's car. And we were talking, and he was giving me his history of krump. Because I always wanted to know how he felt, what was his story? You know what I'm saying? What was your story in it? Because I knew that he was definitely one of the best, for sure. You know what I'm saying? Because I used to hear about him. I used to hear about him. I used to hear about him. I used to hear about Lil C. I was hearing about them. So to actually have made it here, and this was only within a year and a half of dancing really hard, to have made it here, I'm like, I'm questioning stuff with him. And we sat there, and I remember he was taking me to LA, to the house, and I'll never forget what I said to myself, you know what I'm saying? Because of the conversation we had. I'm like, man, I got a big brother now. You know what I'm saying? That's how I felt. I'm like, I got a big brother. Like, I thought I made it. That was it for me. I had made it. I'm like, this is my brother. You know what I'm saying? Like, he took me to the house. He explained the situation with his mother. You know what I'm saying? Where she came from, what had happened. And that was another thing that made me closer to him, because I'm looking at him like, dang, you have a mother that was addicted to it too, because sometimes it can be embarrassing, especially when people know. Like, I would be in the streets, bro, and some people be like, oh, that's why your mama this, you know what I mean? And that takes a toll on a child, you know what I mean? And so I'm looking at him as an example, like what he did with it. Because I'm pretty sure if he had this same type of mother that I had, he had the same type of experiences that I had. It's embarrassing when you a kid. So when I'm seeing that he's this tight in life to me, you know what I mean? That this tight in life, you know what I'm saying? I'll never forget the first day when he had to go practice at work. This was the first time I spent the night, you know what I'm saying? And I'm there with him. And I'm not under him yet though. I'm not under him. I'm there, but I'm not under him yet. I'm just there. And he was going to work at a dance studio, and he gave me some money for food. He was like, hey, this is some money for some pizza if you want to eat. And I'm like, because regardless, I had a lot of big homies, but they never did that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, wait, because now this is consideration. Like, wait. He's like, here, man, this is some money for some food. He's like, don't tell my mom I gave that to you. Now, when he says that to me, I know what we're talking about. I understand that language, because we would say that about my mom, or people would say that. I'm like, okay. And then his mama eyes, she came and she was like, Tez gave you some money, huh? That is honestly when I accepted her as a mother, because I'm like, you just like my mama. That was it. I'm like, okay. Like, I understood where I was at, and I was comfortable with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, now I can still be myself, but now I could be a better dancer, and you don't gotta be embarrassed about this. Like, it's cool. Like, all right. Like, that, it was life-changing. You can't, because I guess I kind of always in the back of my mind thought that I wasn't nothing because of what happened with her. Like, I thought I was lesser than, seeing everybody else with their mother and their fathers, and you know what I'm saying? It was like, dang, like, so I thought I was lesser than, but when I seen Tight Eyez, who didn't have a father, he has his mother who had the ex-life of the street life, and he has his little brothers and sisters in the house as if they're his own, like me. I have my little brothers and sisters, like I wasn't the father, but I was really the big brother in the house. I would make sure that we ain't gonna starve, you know what I'm saying? So when I seen that characteristic in him, it was me recognizing my own nature. You get what I'm saying? But once again, like I said, I wasn't under him yet.